Hello children, good morning to you all. Hope you have followed yesterday's explanation of freedom struggle lesson. What I told yesterday, what was nation, what is nationalism, and how this nationalism was felt by the Indians and when. Understand? And I even told about social reform movement. Okay, I also explained you the social reform movement. So today, now we are going to continue with the same explanation, with the explanation of the next part of the lesson. So here we go, children. So we are doing with our lesson freedom struggle. So yesterday I have explained what is nation, nationalism, and how this nationalism, feeling of nationalism, was felt by the Indians and when. Then, what was the problem in the way of freedom struggle? Understand, when people felt that this nation is ours, it should not be under the foreign rule, under the rule of other country. We have to set it free from their clutches, from their hands. When people started feeling this is nationalism, feeling of nationalism. Then what happened? Okay, few people came forward, educated people, to fight for the freedom of our country. But when they came forward, they felt that there are so many problems and difficulties in the way of freedom struggle. This freedom struggle is nothing but we can call it Indian national movement also. We can call it Indian national movement. So, what are the difficulties they faced in the way of the freedom movement? There are so many superstitions people were practicing in our country. They were orthodox. They were very rigid. They did not want to change themselves. And they were ignorant. They did not know what is right and what is wrong. They were not educated. They did not think anything rationally in a systematic manner. So, what these leaders felt that unless we reform our society, means unless we remove such evil practices from the society, we cannot do any development or we cannot bring the people together in the freedom movement. So, first they wanted to remove such social evils from the society. What social evils were there in those days? Very badly in practice. First was sati system, I explained you yesterday. Child marriage. prohibition of girl education. And prohibition of widow remarriage. These are the remarriage, and in Muslim community, parda system. What are these? Let us know first, one by one. So sati system already I explained you. What is it? In those days, man had all the right to marry as many number of wives he could. First thing. Second thing, he did not follow any age gap and all. They did not think of the girl's life at all. Girl's work is to sit at home, give birth to the children and cook for the family. Only that's it. But it is not confined to the doorsteps. Now girls are forward in every walk of life. They are pilots, they are doctors, they are engineers, they are railway drivers, bus drivers, conductors, what not. Each and everything girls are doing now. So their talent was just suppressed under these superstitions. So the old age man could marry a girl, immature girl below 10 years also. So by the time the girl reaches the age of marriage or young age, the man would die. When the man dies, her husband dies, the girl has to sit on the chita, the arranged logs for burning the dead body. And along with the dead body of the husband, she also was burnt. This is very bad habit. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was the social reformer who wanted to bring changes in the society. He worked very hard to remove, and at last facing so many problems, people never want to remove this, they want to follow, and they troubled him like anything. They were ready to kill him whenever they saw. But what he did, with that fear, he stayed in England and he died there. He was the highly educated man. Then child marriage. When the child was just a few months old, their marriage would have been decided with Tamas Koduku Vada. చిన్న ఏజ్లోనే ఆంట్స్ పిల్లలతోటి మామయ్య కొడుకు అత్తయ్య కొడుకుతోటి పెళ్ళి ఫిక్స్ చేసేవాడు. అప్పుడు అబ్బాయి ఒక 10 years ఉంటే అమ్మాయి 5 years ఉండేది. అబ్బాయి 15-16 నుంచి అమ్మాయి 5 years. అలా చాలా చాలా చిన్న ఏజ్లో పెళ్ళి చేసేవారు. అప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి ఏమీ తెలియదు పాపం, నో స్కూలింగ్, నథింగ్, గర్ల్స్. సో దిస్ వాజ్ వెరీ బ్యాడ్ ప్రాక్టీస్. దే వాంటెడ్ టు eliminate or remove this system from the society. Then prohibition of girl education. Prohibition means opposing the girl's education. Understand, if a girl is educated, whole family will be educated children. If a man is educated, only one person is educated. So if mother is educated, she can give good manners, good life to the children. So, but in those days, girls were not allowed to go to schools. So, this was also stopped by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Then prohibition of widow remarriage. Man, after the death of his wife, he can marry again. But ladies, once her husband is died, though she was not having any right to marry at all. This is very bad practice, and at the young age she will be exploited, troubled like anything. And not only that, she could not wear any good clothes, She should not have hair. She should not wear any ornaments and bangles. She should not put bottu. All these practices were there. And nowadays nobody is following all this. So, next parda system in Muslim, women should not come out of the house. Even they come, even now also they wear burqa, black color or any color, full robe right to top to bottom. Understand, this was all wrong habits. So, people like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Madapati Hanumantarao from Andhra Pradesh, and Sayyid Ahmad Khan, these all people worked to remove or eradicate all such bad practices from the society. All these bad practices from the society, and at last they were successful, but they had to face so many problems. And next, let me write the name of the lesson. Okay. Then, English education was introduced in India, which was really very important thing. It is international language. Whether we know other countries' language or not, we know English, at least to some extent. The people who cannot talk, they can even understand at least. Okay. So, what happened? So that through this language, people of the country can come together, they can express their views and all, and in that way they can unite and fight for the freedom of our country. Then the British were very much powerful. Many Indians started requesting them to have some of the Indians in the administrative system. So that because British did not know the problems of the Indians. But if any Indian was there in their government, he could convince them. He could convince them the problems of the Indians, so that they could do at least something for the country. But they were selfish. They did not want. Though the people softly requested them to solve their problems, just they ignored. So that the Indians felt that they should have some organization. They should have some organization. It is a group of people, organization, which could come forward and strongly plead, strongly put forward the problems of the Indians and fight for them, or agitate for their rights, softly or what to say, roughly, whatever the way. For that purpose, with the help of retired IAS officer, English IAS officer called A.O. Hume, the Indians established the organization called the Indian National Congress. Understand? They established the organization called the Indian National Congress in the year 1885. With the help of the British officer, IAS officer, A.O. Hume. A.O. Hume helped the Indians to start their own organization called the Indian National Congress, which was still in working position in the year 1885. So many Indians were the leaders of this, organization. They wanted to hold the meetings. They wanted to hold the meetings, make the people come together, have face to face discussions regarding how to be fought with the British to get a freedom for the country. Understand? In this way, the main leaders are Dadabhai Nauroji, J.R.D. Tata, Umesh Chandra Banerjee, understand? Liaquat Ali, so many people. Look here. Subramanya Iyer, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Badruddin Tayyabji, understand? S.N. Banerjee were the main leaders. Understand? Who? S.N. Banerjee, Dadabhai Nauroji, G. Subramanyam Iyer, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Badruddin Tayyabji, etc. are the main leaders of this organization. Understand? So, every organization should have a president. So, they made W.C. Banerjee, Umesh Chandra Banerjee, as the president of the INC. First president of the INC. He was the first president of the INC. What is INC? Indian National Congress. So W.C. Banerjee was made the first president of the Indian National Congress. Then the first session or first meeting of this Congress INC, first meeting, or we can call it a session, was held at Mumbai. That time it was called Bombay. Now we call it Mumbai. Understand? The first meeting or session, first session of the INC was held at Mumbai. In the beginning, only 72 delegates attended the meeting. 72 delegates attended the meeting. Means very few people attended the session. Whatever it is, it was a good beginning, we can say. Understand? Only 72 delegates attended the first meeting of Indian National Congress. Understand? And what they kept their aim, Swaraj. Swaraj means Swa means self, Raj means rule. We should have our Swaraj, not the foreign rule. So they made self-rule or Swaraj as their aim. They wanted to achieve it. Understand? So, you can call such leaders as freedom fighters. They are freedom fighters. These leaders, whoever's names I said, Badruddin Tayyabji, S. Subramanyam Iyer, Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and so many such people. Firoz Shah Mehta, so many such people, they were the leaders of the national movement of freedom struggle. Understand? And these people were soft-spoken people. Here, this is the beginning of the freedom struggle or Indian national movement. Freedom struggle or Indian national movement. Now, what we learnt is What is the Indian National Congress? Understand, it is an organization set up to fight with the British. Understand? So A.O. Hume was the founder of the Indian National Congress. In short, we call it INC. In short, we call it INC. So, the Indian National Congress was set up or founded by A.O. Hume in 1885. A.O. Hume was the retired English officer, British IAS officer. He helped the Indians to set up their own organization to fight the British. So, this organization is the Indian National Congress. It was set up in 1885. W.C. Banerjee was the first president of this organization. And first meeting or the first session of the INC or Indian National Congress was held at Bombay. And only 72 delegates, means members, attended the meeting. Only 72 members attended the meeting. What was their main aim? To focus on how to convince the British about their rights in the administration of India and how to attain freedom for our country. So, this freedom struggle or the Indian national movement, we can divide in three categories. We can divide it in three categories. First one is called period, first three periods. Period of moderates. Period of moderates. From 1885 to 1905. Understand? Here, the first group of the members of the Indian National Congress were the moderates. Why we call them moderates? They were very soft in their approach. They softly pleaded the British to add the Indians in their administrative system so that they can convince them the problems of the Indians. But being soft, moderate means not very harsh or not very soft. Even then, they were not successful in attaining anything under the British rule. They were not successful to convince the British about the Indian problems. Then comes the second period or second group of people. Period of extremists. Here, this period was from 1905 to 1921 or 20, I can say, 15 years. Here, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak were the main leaders. They were extremist by approach. They wanted strong approach and quick results. They did not believe in going with a soft way because British were not the people who can be convinced softly. So they are called extremists. Under this rule, even so many revolutionary fighters also came. They come under this group. They were Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Khudiram Bose, Rajguru, so many such people who were joined the freedom movement at very, very young age, and they sacrificed their complete life for the sake of our freedom. Understand? And the third group is called the Gandhian era. The Gandhian era. Era means period. It was started from 1920 to 1947 till we got independence. Understand? Here also Gandhiji went through ahimsa path. He did not fight with any kind of weapons and all. Through ahimsa and non-cooperation, he worked very hard along with so many Indians who joined him in the movement, and he was able to achieve freedom for our country. In this way, three different periods we have got for freedom struggle, right from 1885 to 1947. So children, how many years they struggled? Let us see. So 7 minus 2, 14 minus 8, 6. 62 years, very hard work they did. They lost their lives, they lost everything, but they never went back, took back. Whatever maybe, we have to attain freedom in this way. They all worked together successfully and brought freedom for our country. And what we are going to study in our next classes, the leaders of the freedom movement of moderates, then extremists, then Gandhian era. Understand? So here we stop. What we learned today? We learnt about the Indian National Congress. We are going to have a flow chart about it. Understand? Founder, year of establishment, first president, first session, then number of delegates, main leaders, main aim. Like this, under these headings you are going to write the answer. So here we stop. Hope you understood this concept, and tomorrow I am going to teach you about period of moderates and extremists. Then we will go in our third lesson about Gandhian era. Okay, and about the independence of our country. So here we stop. Thank you, children.